First day of college. I would say it's kind of like I was quite lost at first, I'd say.
I went to UC Berkeley in the early 70s, and my brother was a junior there, so he really took me under his wing to show me around.
My first day of college, I met up with friends from orientation.
My first day at Fredonia was pretty strange. However, when we first pulled up to the dorms, there were like 12 people in these like weird t-shirts.
I went to class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think I was done by like 2 or 3 o'clock, and I was already tired.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really great experience. I met a lot of people.
We went to lunch and did that whole thing, and then we went to the thing that you're supposed to go to.
The student convocation.
Yeah, the student convocation thing, and I sat with, I don't even know.
One of the things he was talking to me, because this was during the Vietnam War, this was during the expansion into Cambodia, there were a lot of protests on campus. Berkeley was a really active campus that way.
First day of classes I love. I'm always stoked to go to class and get the syllabus. I love the syllabus. I love, it's like the one day in my life that I can feel organized. Because when I have the syllabus that first day, it's just like, I got everything planned. I'm like, oh, this is when I gotta do this, this is when I gotta do this, this is when I gotta do this. And then that evening when I get home, I take all the syllabuses and I toss them. And I never know what the hell's going on after that. But that first day is really exciting.
Just from not knowing where I was moving in and stuff, since like Hemingway is in the back too, so I had to like go around and shit. Oh, not supposed to say shit.
I just remember being very scared every time I walked into the first class because I didn't know exactly where all the buildings were, all the rooms, and I was scared I was either going to be very late to class and look stupid walking in there, or I was going to be in the wrong class and look stupid walking out. So I was just praying that the whole day went okay without any glitches.
Because, I got my new pens, I got my new notebooks, I got my new day planner, which remains a new day planner until the dates become the wrong dates because I never open it up again. So it's like that first day, it's like, I'm gonna make a new day, I'm gonna reshape myself, I'm gonna take a new attitude, I'm gonna, have everything straight. But no, that lasts for about a day. So I like the first day of classes.
Towards the end of the night, I went over to UC and I saw a huge group of musicians, just guitarists. There was like 4 saxophones in there, bassists. They had some people playing djembes, and it was really fun. So I brought my guitar over there, and I guess I got the good experience of the Fredonia music scene, I guess.
People would hang their speakers out the windows during the riots and have one of the radio stations on, who would then announce what streets the National Guard were on or the police were on, so that the rioters who were down below, or not rioters, protesters, the protesters down below would know what areas to avoid or do something to counteract the fact that the National Guard were coming up this street.
Before college, I thought that college was like such a time of just hanging out with friends and being away from home and partying all the time or whatever, but when you really get here, it's so much more work than high school, and it's very difficult having to concentrate solely on classes and work and tests and everything else.
I thought college was going to be really serious and like everyone's really focused on school and stuff, and then like sometimes people party, and then I found out that people party every single day, and like it really doesn't matter because people really don't care. They pregame in class sometimes. We know a couple people who actually do that now, and it's quite funny. So I thought it was going to be really serious, and it turned out not to be at all.
I didn't have like huge expectations, but like my main focus was like, oh, I'll make some friends. Just like basic things, like, oh, I'll start living and like do laundry and shit, and oh, I keep on saying shit too, and then like that's pretty much like my basic thought process. Pretty simple.
Didn't really have any expectations. I was coming from the Army, so I lived in the barracks the whole time. So even though I'm older than the people that I'm living with, in the suite. I expected it to be kind of like the barracks. It's not. It's a little bit different. It's a lot different. It's definitely a very interesting social experiment.
Mainly, I was expecting that the guitarists in the program would be kind of, well, not so helpful, I guess. They wouldn't be willing to just like help you out and stuff. And, you know, that was definitely changed because everyone was very nice and supportive and wanted to make sure that you were the best guitarist that you could be.
If I could go back and change one thing, it would definitely be to not be as shy and timid, meeting new other people and meeting people through friends. I wish I was more outgoing and just showed who I really was instead of holding back and not showing my true self.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I should have like talked a little bit more because I guess I had the stink face when I first came here. Even at orientation, one of my friends, Christina, told me she didn't want to really approach me because I looked like I wanted to beat everyone in the room. But I really didn't. I was just like really quiet. I guess my quiet face kind of looks like a mean face. So I guess I should have been a lot more open, show people my personality a little bit more.
Certainly if I look over my whole college career, I would change things.
Like what?
I would party more. I spent almost all, that's not true, I didn't spend all my time studying, and Berkeley has a lot of really neat cultural activities. I mean, the Pacific Film Archives is there, where they're always showing rare, interesting foreign films, American films, just fabulous. I mean, what I do now, I would have changed my major. My major was history, and I love history, but if I could have gone into film studies then, rather than later, that would have been fabulous. Or gone into film archive work, being a film curator, working at the PFA. If I could have gotten an internship at the Pacific Film Archive, that would have been perfect.
I wouldn't change anything that I did the first day of college. I don't think. I'm pretty sure everything was A-okay for me.
The professor that we had, he was so annoying. He was just so boring. I think me and her were probably just cracking jokes the entire class, and we never could pay attention the whole semester just because it was so bad.
9:30 class, or yeah, 9 o'clock theory class comes around, and I told a really bad joke in front of the class, and no one laughed. And so I wish that I could bring that back. I just don't say the joke.
What was the joke?
I don't remember the joke. But it wasn't funny. I know that. It was funny in my head at the time. It's not funny, though.
In fact, there were National Guard helicopters, you know, with tear gas and things. And so people would fly balloons as fly kites as anti-helicopter things. That they figured if they got the kites high enough up, that the helicopters couldn't come down low enough to dump tear gas.
The first day I was walking with one of my friends, Cynthia, at the time, and we walked by this guy, and I guess his mom was there too, and she was like, "Oh, look, there are pretty girls on this campus," and he's like, "They're freshmen, you can tell," and I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I stick out like a sore thumb," because I don't know, I think now when I look back on like pictures from freshman year, I looked really young, and now I guess you could say I'm something of a grown woman, but like before, I guess like you could really pick out the freshmen because they look really young and they're like either really eager to learn everything or they're just like really overly excited, and like upperclassmen are just like, yeah, I'm here.
And they roll in like even from like your group, when you get to school, you go back to the orientation, like your orientation group, and those are usually like big groups of people. So like when you're in a dining hall and like
roll deep.
Yeah, like 20 deep comes in, you're like, oh, they're freshmen, because they haven't separated from the groups yet and realized who they're kosher with yet. So like if you see like 20 people walking, you're like, yeah, that's a group of freshmen. And like they always wear the keys around their neck too.
The lanyards.
The lanyards
all
around the neck.
Freshmen in transfer, they wear lanyards all the time, and I'm like, why are you like sporting your Fred card everywhere? Like,
Always around the neck or around the back. So it like
Yeah.
hangs around the back, like right there.
like doesn't that get
That's how
annoying?
you can tell.
I think that gets annoying, personally.
One thing about my first day here was the first time I had ever heard the word legit. And it was from the same guy that lives in my suite, and he helped me move in my stuff. And I'm like, well, he carried a big box. I should probably talk to him, introduce myself, get to know him. And like in 5 minutes of conversation, this dude said legit like 20 times. Like everything about his summer was legit, everything about his job was legit, his room was legit, his suite was legit, his computer and his Xbox were legit, his classes were legit, and he was pretty legit. That's one of the words I hate. I hate legit. I hate creeper. I get creeper a lot. I hate that.